This is pretty much how you become exotic, okay? And it's pretty much about embracing the law of opposites, which states this: people usually go for things that are rare in life, right? For example, if everyone has blue eyes, the one with the brown eyes, it's gonna be the one that looks exotic. That's why when you go to Europe, all of those European guys want a sexy Latina. They all want a spicy, sexy Latina, right? But then when you're here, a lot of people find the white people exotic. When you're in Europe, Europeans find the Latinos exotic, right? Um, Even when I'm in the Dominican Republic, right? Not even in the Dominican, actually, that happened to me in the Dominican Republic. Everyone is clean shaven there. Everyone has like a very like like a very normal haircut. I go there looking like this, and I swear to God, I had grannies approaching me. I had a bunch of people looking at me. Girls were like fucking coming up to me, who asking me who I was. I thought they were subscribers, but it's because I just looked different from everybody else, right? Even if you're, that's why I tell people, right? If you want to look more attractive, go where you're not there, right? If you're white, go to Africa. If you're African, go to a place with a bunch of white people, a bunch of people that don't look like you. Okay. An example of someone who did this is Donald Trump. Okay. When he first came into office, when he first started running, he was literally the opposite of a politician. And most established politicians thought that he was going to lose. It's going to be an easy picking because he was just so different. What they didn't know was that that's exactly what people appear to want, right? And especially this time around. And so he leaned, unfortunately for a lot of people, he leaned on his rhetoric. He leaned on being unprofessional. He leaned on being bombastic. He leaned on literally not being a politician. And that's why a lot of people were drawn to him, because he looked like somebody who wasn't a politician. And so he even embraced it by saying, drain the swamp. Right. And so you can see how this is a powerful political strategy where if everyone around you is one way, going the opposite direction, this only works if people are tired of the establishment. If people are tired of the bullshit, for example, I tell people it's okay to be needy now. Like in relationships, it's okay to tell people what you want because nowadays no one's doing that. Right? You could use the law of opposites to help you. If everyone is closed down emotionally, being open emotionally can actually help you out. It's actually being vulnerable and showing that you like the person can actually be a better strategy. You just have to realize what is this discontent of everyone and go in the opposite direction, because usually going in the opposite direction, you'll fulfill that. It's really about fulfilling a void and finding out what void that is, right? If everyone hates being politically correct secretly, you being the opposite of that and being politically incorrect give you power and admiration. So this is really one of the most powerful ways to stand out and to look really attractive. So let's talk about this. So let's talk about the basics, okay? The basics is a study that was done where, actually, let me give you guys my experience on this. I remember I went on a date with this girl many years ago, and we were supposed to meet at a bar. And she's like, "Hey, I'm here." I'm like, "I'll be there right now." As I go there, she's talking to a dude, but this dude is chubbier, and he's dark skinned, but he's not me. I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe she." I went up to her. I was like, "Hey, it's me, Delexis." I was like, "Oh, this is my friend. We just met, Alex." I'm like, I was looking at the guy. I was like, "Okay, I know what you're trying to do." But she came back to me, right? But I swear to God, right? When I saw that, I was happy as hell. You wanna know why? Because Alex was a little overweight. Alex wasn't well kept. Alex wasn't as good looking as I was. And I could tell I could tell when she saw me, she was so fucking happy that I was like, "Yo, I should hit up Alex so he could come to my dates and meet my dates first, and then I go and meet." What the whole point of that is that studies show that whenever you see someone who's unattractive, and then you see someone who's more attractive, the person who's more attractive, by contrast, is going to look even more attractive than they usually would. Right? It's like when somebody who's short, when you see someone like an NBA player, and he's playing with a lot of NBA players, the shortest guy in an NBA roster, when you see them around NBA players, they look short. Put that same short guy around everyone else, and then you see the true size of them. Another example is this: when you work with people, the people who you work with, usually they look attractive to you. But that same person who you think looks attractive in the context of your job, put them around the normal people, and all of a sudden you realize they may not be as attractive as you think they are, right? So that's usually what happens here is we're using the contrast and the law of opposites to create attraction. You know, like if I'm dating, and this sucks, if I'm dating a girl and I meet her sister and she's hot as fuck, you know, it sucks, right? But like this happens with twins, where all of a sudden I hate to say this, but all of a sudden the one you with doesn't look as attractive, right? And it kind of like diminishes it through the law of opposites, right? Or the law of contrast. Um, so, so what are some ways that you guys can embrace this? All right, the ways that you guys can embrace this is to embrace your dark side. Your dark side has a lot of attractive energy to it. What I mean by that is this: is that your dark side, when people see your dark side, is the complete opposite of how you come across. Is the complete opposite of what you show out into the world. And that, to most people, they find that really attractive. They find that seductive. The opposite traits that you suppress, to most people, they want to see that. In fact, it's your dark side that seduces people. It's your dark side that draws people to you. If you don't embrace that, you lose magnetism. You lose a lot of magnetic powers by not embracing this part of you, which is your dark side, okay? The next thing is to the opposite sex. Embracing your inner masculine, embracing your inner feminine. A perfect example of that is Prince. And a lot of people said that they wouldn't leave their girl around Prince because Prince had this magnetic aura about him. And opposite of this for women is Madonna or even Coco Chanel, where she told women to dress in a more provocative, more masculine way of dressing. And in fact, that's exactly what guys like. Guys don't just like a woman who wears super feminine clothing. Guys like a woman who have a little masculinity in the way that she dresses. It's actually the seductive quality. Women like the feminine inside of a man, right? Not full feminine, but the tiny bit of femininity that every guy has. If you just learn to bring that out and find a way to embrace it in your public persona, like women find that really seductive. Like it's really attractive. A perfect example of that, think of Russell Brand. Like you could tell he has like a feminine quality to him. Now, other ways that you could do this is never let yourself be compared to the past. And this is where when you date people, when they look at you, they think of their ex. When they look at you, they think of the ex that dumped them. You can't let people do that to you. If you're dating someone and they can't stop comparing you to someone else, the law of opposites is working against you. Where you're losing aura. You're losing aura because of comparisons. And to be honest with you, it's unfair. If you're in that situation, it's best to walk away. Don't even try to fight it. Don't even try to convince them. In fact, you walking away could potentially cause the law of opposites to work in your favor now, right? Because maybe the ex didn't walk away, right? So never let yourself be compared to somebody else. But one of the laws of power is never step on another great man's shoes. An example of this, or somebody who broke this rule, is LeBron James. LeBron James, when he first came into the league, he wanted to be the greatest of all time. But his mistake was that he said he wants to be like Michael Jordan. He wants to be the greatest player of all time, and maybe one day overstep Michael Jordan. And because of that, he wore the number 23. Big mistake. As soon as he did that, everyone was comparing him to Michael Jordan. And to his surprise, he actually achieved a lot. But the problem is that he fought a fight he couldn't win. He stepped on another great man's shoes. He wore another great man's shoe. And unfortunately for him, some people are not over the past. What he should have done was said, hey, I don't want to be the next Michael Jordan. I want to be the next LeBron James. I don't want to be compared to him. My game is not similar to him. I'm not him. I don't want to. That could have been better. But because of his comparison to Michael Jordan, unfortunately, LeBron James lost a lot of aura. Like he really did. And what he should have done is that he should have focused on what makes you different. Remember, people were comparing him to Jordan. So they were comparing the fact that he couldn't shoot the basketball like Jordan. They were comparing the fact that he wasn't clutch like Jordan. And so you could see that they were looking at his weaknesses and then comparing them to Jordan's weaknesses, and then they deducted aura points from him. He would have not lost those points if he would have just focused on what makes him different. Would have never pointed a finger towards Jordan, which caused unfair comparisons. So don't try to be like everyone else. Find what makes you unique. Dress the way that makes you unique. Follow your own path. Pave your own road. Focus on what makes you different, what makes you a weirdo, and embrace it. What you'll notice is that it might seem weird to some people, and that's totally fine. But to the right people, it's extremely, and I mean extremely attractive. Like me, I like to meditate. I like to do art. I like to do YouTube videos, and they may not seem, I like to play drums. They may not seem like they go hand in hand, but for me, they do. And that's what makes me unique. I didn't follow the normal path, getting a normal 9 to 5, right? I focused on what makes me different, which was I couldn't focus on normal jobs. So I had to do something that was weird, right? I had a weird personality, and I was ashamed of it when I was younger. But then as I grew up, I realized that my weird personality could potentially attract the right people into my life, right? And that's what it does. These things work as long as you embrace what makes you different as a person. So remember, don't try to be like everyone else. There are qualities in you that are contrary to what you show out into the world. My encouragement for you is not to hide those traits, but to fully embrace it and find ways to show your contradicting qualities out into the world. The qualities that most people maybe not accept, find ways to bring it out in a way that's acceptable. What it does is that it gives you aura points. It gives you power. It gives you like this vibe about you that people are drawn to, for the simple fact that you have managed to unrepress yourself, to express who you really are without fear of rejection. And people admire that. They really do admire that. And they admire that, and they manifest their admiration by being drawn to you, right? If you struggle with this, people who struggle doing this, they just struggle being comfortable in themselves. And that's why I tell people, practice meditation. Practice daily meditation. It'll allow you to embrace the opposite qualities in you with much more fluidity. And if you guys want to learn how to do that, then check out our Patreon by clicking on the description down below. Take care.